What is going on, guys? MMA Island team. We got the fight picks. We got Mike Rodriguez taking on Marcin Prachnio. Prachnio coming off the long layoff, and Rodriguez coming off of a knockout loss to Da Un Jung just late last year. So to start us off, we'll pass it on to Zach.
This is the first time we have seen Prachnio since September of 2018, where he got knocked out in the first round by Magomed Ankalaev. Okay, that's fine. You can't really put a lot of stock into that. Ankalaev is an absolute monster. And in his UFC debut, he gets knocked out by Sam Alvey. And you don't want to be knocked out by Sam Alvey if you consider yourself to be a UFC caliber fighter. You just don't. And Prachnio fits the mold for a fighter we've seen so many times before. A guy who racks out tons of KOs before he goes into the UFC, but then can't find a way to, get it done. And okay, Mike Rodriguez has not looked the most impressive in the UFC so far. I will give it that. I mean, he does have one win, but I mean, getting flatlined by Da Un Jung like that is it's not good. But another thing is, I don't know why this fight's so high up on the card. Both of these guys have they have a tendency to gas out. I think Prachnio has more of a tendency than Mike Rodriguez, but Mike Rodriguez is huge. He is built, absolutely built, and he hits really, really hard. And now the game plan to beat Mike Rodriguez is you have to take him down. I mean, usually if you're not Da Un Jung and have absolute nukes in your hands, but most people who have beaten him have taken him down. I mean, Devin Clark was able to take him down 7 times in their fight, which is absolutely ridiculous. But, I mean, you're looking at a guy who was not very impressive at all in his first UFC run, gets knocked out twice in a year. In the first round, he's coming back after a long layoff after 2 years. And I don't know. I don't think in good conscience at all that I can pick Marcin Prachnio. I just cannot do it. Mike Rodriguez has been the more active fighter. I think he is the bigger fighter. He is 6'4". He does have a slight height advantage, and I think he has a reach advantage as well because Mike Rodriguez's reach is absolutely ridiculous at 82 inches, one of the longest reaches in the UFC over Prachnio's 74 inches. Mike Rodriguez by probably a very sloppy decision after they both gas out, but he could knock him out. But yeah, either way, Mike Rodriguez wins.
Let's address the elephant in the room before you start, Mike. What's your personal vendetta against Ben Saunders and Sam Alvey, bro?
Me?
Yeah.
Well,
they're not UFC caliber anymore.
I think what this is going to lead into what I was talking about, actually, is what a lot of people mention about Sam Alvey, which honestly I kind of tend to agree with, is if you beat Sam Alvey, and I can't remember who mentioned this, but someone mentioned this as Sam Alvey is a gatekeeper, but not a gatekeeper that if you beat him, you're going to go off and win a championship. If you beat Sam Alvey, you're a UFC caliber. And I agree with whoever said that, and credit to whoever it was. I was watching a YouTube video. Somebody said that. But one thing I want to mention here that is kind of crazy is out of Sam Alvey's last 11 fights, he has 1 KO win. And guess who it was against? Marcin Prachnio. So one thing I think is going to play a huge factor here is the long layoff. And then talking about Mike Rodriguez getting knocked out by Da Un Jung. Da Un Jung, as I mentioned, he has KO power. I don't put too much stock into losing there. And then Devin Clark, unanimous decision. Our co-main event of the evening tonight, Alonzo Menifield lost unanimously to Devin Clark as well. Devin Clark is just that guy who's just going to win a unanimous decision. He's got 8 out of his 12 wins by that. But talking about this fight, man, the thing is talking about Rodriguez. He's a finisher. 8 out of his 10 wins coming by KO, and the two that are not KOs are submissions. So this guy is a guy who typically finishes fights when he wins fights. And then talking about Prachnio has lost 3 times via KO in his career. 2 of his last fight losses were also by KO. So I don't really know if that layoff is going to change that. I think fighting a guy in Rodriguez who is a finisher, 80% are the chance coming by KO. I think he's hungry, getting knocked out by Da Un Jung, and says, hey, man, I want to go out there and show that was not really me, and I want to go out and knock a guy out who is vulnerable to getting knocked out. I think he's able to do it. Looking at him, even he's the reach. One thing that I was going to mention, I'm sad you mentioned it before I did, is to be 6'4" compared to fighting a guy who's 6'3". You'd think maybe 1-2 inch reach advantage. Maybe they have the same reach advantage. No, Rodriguez has an 8-inch reach advantage on him, and he's only 1 inch taller, which is absolutely insane. The striking differentials coming into play, having a positive strike differential in Rodriguez's side. Obviously, he's got the more fights to look at, and then obviously coming off 2 KO losses, you probably don't have a plus striking differential, but he doesn't at 2.39 landed per minute, 39% accuracy. I just don't think that he's UFC caliber. Whereas in Rodriguez, I think he still could be going unanimously with a veteran as in Devin Clark, and then getting knocked out by Dong Zhang. I'm not really down on him there. He got the 2 KO wins in the UFC as well, so he's kind of been the guy who can be in the UFC. Whereas in Pacquiao, we haven't seen that because he's been knocked out by 2 guys. Sam Alvey, as I mentioned, whole gatekeeper vibe, but Magomed Ankalaev, who is just a beast. So we can't really put too much stock into that. So I do think it's close. Passing it to the calculator, it's got it at a 53.7% chance for Rodriguez. It is very close by the calculator standards, not as close by mine. But I am going with Rodriguez as well. I just think that it's kind of as I mentioned, it's the whole experience against the better opponents, and it's not really the whole experience of who they fought. It's more so this guy's got knocked out by 2 guys who are in the UFC. This guy who has beat guys who was in the UFC. I just think the volume is going to be too much for Pacquiao, and I think it's going to end the fight in the first round by a KO. So pass it on to Jake here.
Team Mike, big slow motion Mike. He's got the power. He's got the reach. He's got the height. He's 6'4", 82-inch reach, as Zach mentioned before. Not 80 inches like the mystical John Bones Jones. 82. Now I don't know if they're measuring at the wrist, or sometimes people mess that up in the UFC, or they don't mess it up. But each state, each athletic commission does it differently. They measure by the wrist or by the hand. So not every reach is the most accurate. But what the fuck do I know? Mike Rodriguez is smart. He's got the power. He's not the fastest guy, but that's because of the power. He's a walking tank of muscle. He may have just came off of a knockout loss. That doesn't mean his chin's gone. It just means that he got slept by another power puncher, okay? It would have been a lot different if it was a volume striker or it was somebody lesser known for their power. But like we just said, that's not the case. So Mike Rodriguez, knockout, second round. He's going to be labored, come out a little bit stiff. He's got to get fluid. He's got to warm up. He's got to shake off the nerves. He's got to get a couple punches in, feel his opponent out, and then he's going to start unloading, and he's going to start shooting those punches, and eventually one of those grenades is going to blow off his opponent's head.
That sounds exactly right. I'll go the other version of what you're saying. I just think that Pacquiao, I'm not seeing it. Like y'all said, I don't have very much value at all when I choose to pick him, so I won't. I don't see it. I think that the coming off of those 2 KO losses in a row and then being out for a long time, plus coming in and now you're fighting in the 25-foot octagon, I just think that I think he's going to walk into something quick. I think he's going to walk into something quick off of slow Mike Rodriguez. I think Mike Rodriguez gets it done in one under 2.5.
And you mentioned, Jake mentioned here, talking about John Jones. He really does have a John Jones style to him with the long arms. He likes to lead with the front kick and everything. He's got that feel to him. So I just feel like this is a really bad matchup for Pacquiao. But if you guys disagree with us, we want you to let us know. We got it.
He holds power much better than John, though. Sorry to keep interrupting. He's built the whole
I agree with you. I agree with you.
But the arms are so similar. I'm
Exactly.
sorry.
No, exactly. I definitely agree with you. So we all got Rodriguez on this one. I think it's a little bit closer. The calculator thinks it's a lot closer. But I want to know what you guys got in this one. So make sure you guys are letting us know your thoughts in the comments. No more hate. Just let us know that you love us and let us know your pick. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the other Fight Pick videos.